Yeah, week 1 NFL, week 2 NCAA. It's a big week coming up. Today we start with Romer, the Philadelphia Homer, getting ready for that big bachelor party out there in Las Vegas, Nevada. Following up on tomorrow with Fun with Fermi again, going over week 2, what we got right, what we got wrong, and what we need to fix in preparation for the big trip out. Hey, listen. At the end of this podcast today, Rome's and I get a little long in the tooth, old buddies chit-chatting. So, listen, you want to get out of it, I appreciate it and understand it, but in that same breath, please make sure you click like, share, and subscribe. Send this out to friends. Get guys involved. Hit me up at @the_goose on Twitter. And give me a shout out if you want to come on the show and want to talk some sports. Be more than happy to have you on here. Listen, quick little point of emphasis. We like to make mistakes and we like to point them out. So last week I had talked about some quarterbacks with Texas Tech. I'll be brief here. I had said it was in the bowl game against South Florida. I was wrong. McLean Carter started in the Texas game, and then they pulled him for Shimonik. I had both the quarterbacks reversed, and then I also had the game wrong, and I apologize. And then also this week I was unaware that Penn State has Wisconsin on their schedule. I was assuming that either Ohio State or Penn State would meet Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game, but I still hold true to believe that either Penn State or Ohio State, if they make and when they make the Big Ten championship game, that they will beat Wisconsin when they play them. So from here, let's get right into it for this afternoon's podcast with Romer, the Philadelphia Homer. Well, I didn't think this was actually going to happen. I'm kind of happy to be here. Not really. I'm not sure how to make an assessment out of this. This might kill all of my credibility, the limited amount that I have. So let's bring in our top guest of the week, the man who is on his way to eternal happiness at the end of the month. This man is also having the final bachelor party of our group of 6 from college. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Romer, the Philadelphia Homer. Romes, how you doing?
Thanks, Goose. Thanks for having me. Incredibly excited to be on the show. After hearing the first 2 episodes, I couldn't help but reach out to you and make sure I had my chance to represent my favorite teams and give some insights into some picks, especially given that we are going to be in Sin City in 3 or 4 days. Think about that. I have been thinking about it. I've been listening to a lot of different podcasts. I've been listening to a bunch of stuff. It's kind of my thing. And the one thing that I was talking with Fermi about is how I hate how these touts, they sell their picks and they've got their power ratings and they all do, and they got all this crap. I think it's crap. I think if you're selling gambling picks, I think you're a scammer. That's the honest to God truth. We're all in the same game together. It's not like it's like me versus you. Like it's us versus the books. You know what I mean? And we're playing together. There's no reason we can't all win together. And someone's like, well, that means the line's going to go up. And blah. Look, if you get line value or you like something, take it. Like, everyone's numbers are subjective anyways. So, this is going to be totally different than what we got with Fermi and with Anderson. Like, you're playing right from the heart, which, to be honest with you, some of the best gamblers do that. They ride it when it's hot and they pull out when they're down. I'll admit my first mistake. I was going to talk about this with, where I was right, where I was wrong, and what I didn't really have any control of in my picks with Fermi tomorrow was about Penn State and Pitt. I thought Penn State was going to have a way better defense than what they showed. I thought Appalachian State was going to be down, considering they lost a 4-year starter at quarterback. I understand that they're a tough team. A total misread. I took them in the first half. I got them at -14, and they were nowhere close. So you follow the Nittany Lions closely. I thought Miles Sanders had a good day. I thought that, the numbers for their quarterback, I slipped my mind right now. What's his name? It just totally McSorley. I thought he played well. Romes, tell me about what happened against Appalachian State, and tell us what you think's going to happen here coming up for this weekend as Penn State comes out to play Pitt. Yeah, that's certainly going to be the game of the weekend for the 28 of us in Vegas. So we're going to have some action down on that game. And, last Saturday, all Penn State fans, Nittany Nation, was sweating profusely when they saw that game was going into overtime and we needed a last-minute touchdown to tie the game. It pretty much would have been a season ender, right? Like, Penn State has Final Four hopes. They have a returning quarterback, a highly touted running back. They got one of the best freshman wide receivers in KJ Hamler, and that's a name that I'd like you all to remember because he's going to be an absolute freak. I think his nickname is the Human Joystick. And they have all the pieces to really make, at least offensively, to really make a run at the Final Four in the FBS here. So, that first game would have been a monumental letdown. The way I think of it, though, is, you got to get tested. And Appalachian State is a team that plays up to their opponent, whether they're in the top 25 or not. They've historically done that. They were 9-4 last year with a huge bowl win over Toledo. And I think Penn State, took them a little bit for granted, and it showed, and they're lucky to come out of that game with a win.
I never would have thought they would have did that. I mean, I'm not trying to be Holly hindsight here, but I mean, honestly, like, you're looking at this Penn State team, like everything you said, potential national qualifier, Final Four. They know that Ohio State doesn't have Urban Meyer the first 3 games. Ohio State comes out and hangs 70 or 77. I don't care if it's Oregon State. They hung 77. I'm going to look for them to do it again this weekend as they go right into Big Ten play against the Rutgers. They run into TCU and the 16th ranked team. I mean, I do not disagree with you. That could have monumentally hurt the Big Ten if they were to lose to Appalachian State, and then they're at home, correct, against Ohio State. Am I right in that? Is that game at home?
You're right.
So
Yes,
so Ohio State comes in. Let's just say Penn State beats them. It's coming down to Wisconsin. You know what I mean? And I would look for either Ohio State or Ohio State or Penn State to beat Wisconsin. I think they're good, but I don't think they're that good. Where's the hole in their defense? What happened? Appalachian State is just the most basic pro-style offense for college. They do nothing that has any speed to it. They do nothing that makes you go, wow, they're going to blow the lid off of this. I mean, Penn State could not stop them on 3rd down. What's the problem?
Yeah, I would say that is my top concern with this team going forward, especially when they play Ohio State, who put up 77, Wisconsin. I think it's growing pains. I think it's first game of the year. They got to shake off some rust. They got to fix their scheme. I think the players got to make plays and be in the right position. The coaches got to put them in the right position. And I think, they just didn't do that this past Saturday. And I think Pitt will be a better test to see if we can, make a couple tweaks and see if we can shut down Pitt, who's got a really talented quarterback. And they put up 33 on Albany, which to me wasn't very impressive. Because I think Albany is a 1AA school, and they had a sub-500 record last year. So 33 against Albany is not an impressive line for Pitt either. And I know there's some homers on the west side of the state that are going to be rooting for Pitt on Saturday, but I think Penn State comes out, shakes off the rust, and hits Pitt right in the mouth, and they cover 8.5 point spread.
The Pittsburgh, and I'm a Pittsburgh guy, but man, the old Yinzers, they're like, like Steelers, like, they'll cover anything, -40. It's like, yeah, okay, guys. I can't stand that. The line's 9, and the over-under's at 57 for the Penn State Pitt game. And the one thing that, here's my question, and maybe I should have had foresight into this, and I'm glad that we're having this discussion. Did Penn State overlook Appalachian? I know this is hindsight, but looking back on it, is it reasonable to say that Penn State may have overlooked Appalachian State because they were looking ahead to Pitt, because it was Pitt who ended their season last year, or any chance of getting into the national title? Or was that 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago. Who's it beat Penn State last year?
Last year it might have been Michigan State, but I do agree with your point, though. Generally, 2 years ago, Penn State was rolling into the national title discussion, There was a drop pass late in that game that would have totally changed the game in Penn State's favor. And, yeah, they could have overlooked Appalachian State in week 1.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. You're right, because that was they played USC in the Rose Bowl. I forgot about that. I'm sorry, wrong stat about last year. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think they had a letdown this week, and they're lucky as a team to get through with a victory, which is all that matters. I think they're really going to show their might this week against a Pitt team that to me is not that impressive. Although I will say, the betting public has shifted the line down, right? I think the line started at 10.5, 11. It's at 9. That tells you that the money right now is on Pitt to cover. But I think that line's pretty attractive for me for Penn State to come out and win by at least 10 points.
I saw it. It originally it's been fluctuating for the past week or so. It's gone down to as low as 7.5. Wow. And then it went back up to Penn State. I think the big key for this week, and guys who are looking to make some bets this weekend, I think the one thing that needs to not happen is an overreaction. Like sometimes it just was what it was. Like they blew the doors off of a team, or they didn't play well, or they overlooked a team. Like don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's a lot of teams right now that are coming in, like you said, they haven't caught rhythm. It's kind of underestimated, the amount of time. We just expect these kids to just, and click and go. That doesn't happen all the time. And so, looking at this line at 9, I don't disagree with you. I don't agree with you because I just don't know if they're up 10, if they even care to give up a late touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, or if they're up 14, you know what I mean? And give up a late touchdown, 9 points, Pitt's going to cover. At home, I don't see this game stopping. This could be a last possession game. At 57, I don't know about you. I kind of like the over. I think there's going to be some points here. I don't see Penn State fixing that defense, and I don't think Pitt's defense was tested, and I think that Penn State definitely has the skill players to blow the lid off of Pitt, in some big plays throughout the game. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, 57s is quite a number, and I would agree that both defenses, they could be very soft, and that Penn State offense, I think, is still very explosive, even without Saquon, Juwan Johnson, KJ Hamler, Miles Sanders, Trace McSorley, all guys that can absolutely light it up. So I could see Penn State dropping 40, 47 points this weekend, and Pitt putting up 20, 25. I could definitely see that over coming in.
Yeah, I was thinking 45 by Penn State. I mean, honestly, and I just think that I knew going into it last week, Appalachian State, their money was in their defense. It has been for the past couple years. Again, I just thought that Penn State would have enough offensive power to get through them, and then their defense, because Appalachian State did not do anything that has wowed anyone really, that they would, keep it locked down. And that was a complete and total misread. And I'm trying not to overreact to that, but I do think that 57 is soft. I think that number should be more towards 62. I think they're really underselling what these two teams are going to put on display. Making a shift over to the NFL, you can't get any more homer than the first NFL game of the year with the defending Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. That line opened at Philadelphia -4 with an over-under at 46.5. It has dropped to Philadelphia -2, over-under 45. Talk to me, fly, Eagles fly.
Well, I think you nailed it on the head there, Goose. We are the defending Super Bowl champions.
Oh my God!
Really
I just want to. Can I disconnect from you right now? You do not have a ring. You do not have a ring. Don't say we. You can say they. I never said when the Steelers won. Oh, we won. I would say the Steelers won. Like you could say the Eagles.
The city of Philadelphia has endured more pain than any other city in the history of sports, and we are going to fly that flag very proudly until somebody knocks us off our perch.
I hope it's week 1. Go ahead. Who do you think? What do you think of this game?
So, obviously, the biggest storyline here in this game is Carson Wentz's knee going to be healthy enough, and are they going to roll them out there for week 1? Doug Peterson had a really funny press conference this past week where he just got tired of answering questions.
Him and Nick Saban.
Yeah, and him and Nick Saban, right? But we're rolling out Nicky Six, and he's looked terrible in the preseason. Preseason, though, is the worst indicator of regular season results in any sport that there is. I think Yanders talked about that a little bit last week.
He did. He has no insight into. He just waits for week 1 and 2 to start making some more in-depth plays off of numbers. Nothing based off of the preseason is what he said.
Yeah, and I think that's a really great point, and I don't judge that either, so I agree with him. I would say this game, if you think back, I think it was the NFC divisional round. Atlanta had the ball going in. We made a big stop on the goal line where they passed it to Julio Jones, and he just couldn't come down with it. I think Atlanta is out for blood. Even though I think the Eagles are going to win, this game is the last possession game, and I think Atlanta is a scary team this year, generally. But I think we're all around probably one of the most talented teams in the league. It's an any given Sunday type deal for me with this team.
That line dictates exactly what you just said. A majority of this market has to believe that if this line dropped 2 points through the key number of 3 from 4, people have to believe that this is a one possession game, and the money is going to dictate that, because at 4, you got your 7-3 split on there as far as your ability to score at an end of a game, and at 2, this line is making you make a prediction. And so, are you saying, like, I think Matt Ryan, I agreed with Yanders. I think that the Atlanta Falcons are going to be good this year. I have Julio Jones on my fantasy team. I think it was just a down year. I completely and totally agree, and want to compliment his point about that. But the old Ric Flair, to be the man, you got to beat the man, and Philadelphia is the man right now. But I wish I would have had more time, and I apologize I didn't get it, and I want to look up stats. I want to see what the defending Super Bowl champions, like win-loss, straight up against the spread numbers have been in the past 10 years. I don't think they're very good, Romes. I'm just going to throw that out there. I can't vouch and verify that, but I don't believe they're very good.
No, and I would agree. Generally, making it to the Super Bowl, the teams that win or lose, aside from anomalies like the Patriots and the Steelers in recent memory, they struggle. And they struggle because of turnover. They struggle because of lack of motivation. But I think a key point for this Philadelphia team this year is half of their core leadership did not play in the Super Bowl. So if you think about the whole underdog story, players that didn't play in the Super Bowl include Jason Peters, future Hall of Famer, Carson Wentz, their unquestioned leader and one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, Darren Sproles, another veteran who is really important to the team. So you think about those 3 guys, didn't play in the Super Bowl, they're going to be motivated to get back to the Super Bowl. And when they're all healthy and on the field, I think this team is incredibly scary.
Make the pick. Over, under, Philadelphia, Atlanta.
So I'm not going to pick win or loss. I typically don't do that with my team, even though every week I'm going to pick the Eagles to win. I don't like playing them against the spread. I will take the under 45, I believe it is right now.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I think there's going to be some rust in week 1. I think the strength actually on both of these teams, even though you'll hear a lot about offense, Julio Jones and Carson Wentz, for Nick Foles and those guys, I think the strength of both of these teams is actually in their defense.
Wow.
I think a lot of punts.
We have cheered for punts before. We have been at games where we have cheered for punts before. So I was not ready for that. That's not the homer play I was going to go for. So let's go to the other game that we were going to talk about here. Let's go, even though it's not a homer, it's an alumni. The New York Giants are hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars, sitting at -3. The Jacksonville Jaguars, a home dog. The New York Giants with the number 2 pick in the draft and an over/under sitting at 43.5. What do you think? Is this a Fournette versus Barkley matchup that really matters, or does this come down to Bortles and Eli Manning?
Yeah, so I'm glad we're talking about this game. I think the most intriguing part of this, there's a couple intriguing storylines here, but really it starts with Leonard Fournette, who really burst onto the scene last year and proved his worth as a running back, versus Saquon Barkley, who is legitimately my favorite player in the NFL. And I just want to talk a little comparison between the two, and then I'll get to my pick.
Go ahead.
So Leonard Fournette is a powerful back. He's 6'1", 228. He reminds me a little bit of Christian Okoye and Tecmo Bowl. You see him just bowling over people.
Wow.
And he's got speed.
He does.
And he's a pretty complete back. Now, pass catching probably is his weak spot, but he's got everything else. He's got all the tools. Saquon Barkley, on the other hand, is your prototypical shorter, can cut between the tackles, a little shiftier, great pass catcher, running back. To me, I compare him to a mix of LaDainian Tomlinson and Barry Sanders. And he's got Hall of Fame caliber potential written all over him.
That's a phenomenal player comparison, by the way. I'm throwing that out there, just to say that he does. If you look at him, he's. I mean, I hate to throw this. He's thick, like he's just a beast from the midriff down. I mean, and I would not. I mean, I wouldn't get in there anyways, but I really would not want to have to get in front of him and try to tackle him. What about the quarterbacks then? Who's getting them the ball here? If you're looking, Barkley can clearly catch out of the backfield, as we saw in college. You want to throw the question about Fournette. Where does this game swing one way or the other? Is this a defensive battle? Is it going to lay on the defenses, or is this the chance for one of these two running backs to have a breakout game here? Let's not undersell Odell Beckham Jr. and all the money that he just got to be on the football field as well.
Yeah, great point, Goose. So, Eli Manning, probably one of my least favorite players of all time. So it's weird having one of my favorite players and my least favorite players in the same backfield. And for Eli, to me, it's just his face. It just bothers the heck out of me. That sour face that he gives, it's just frustrating. But, one thing about Eli
I wasn't expecting that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That's his face. It's not his passer rating. It's not his interception, or touchdown interception. It's that stupid face that he makes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just want to punch it. And,
go ahead.
But it seems like every 4 to 5 years, Eli Manning has one of those seasons where you're like, where was this the 3 seasons before that? And to me, this might be one of those years for him where he's got the tools. He's got ODB, he's got Sterling Shepard, he's got Evan Ingram at tight end, and now he's got the number 1 running back out of the NFL draft in Saquon Barkley. I think they put the pieces together on offense. I think Landon Collins on defense, who's probably, to me, one of the top safeties in the league. I think they come out, and this is my upset special this week. I think the Giants cover the 3 points and beat the Jags in week 1.
You taking them straight up?
Straight up.
Ooh, I like that. I like those money lines. Let me see what that money line's at plus 144. I mean, if you're gonna take them straight, might as well get that 1.5 on the dollar. That turned that 100 into 150 real quick, Romes. I like it.
Yeah, I think too on the Jags side, I think Blake Bortles, he's a very adequate quarterback, and I think Jalen Ramsey is suspended for the first couple games, who's their leader on defense. So I look for the Giants to come out strong. I think they're a sleeper team in the NFC East, so I think they're going to get this first win under their belt. Well,
you talk about sleeper teams, and we talked about this on the phone beforehand. You have a double hitter for the boys out in Vegas. You have a season win total and a team that you are all over for not only the week 1, but the entire season. You're riding this team out. Let everyone know who it is and who you're taking week 1 with a pretty big number.
Yeah, so my team is the Who Dat New Orleans Saints.
Wow.
And so, two things about the Saints: their 9.5 point or win total for the year over under, and they're actually 9.5 favorites week 1 at home versus Tampa Bay. It's ironic that they're both 9.5, but I'm taking them to cover both. Over 9.5 wins, they're going to cover 9.5 points against a lowly Tampa Bay team.
I can see that about the you know the old NFC South is like a revolving door, but I mean I'm gonna sound like the the atypical guy. Like, you're not worried about Breeze. You're not worried about all these, their defense. They've been hit or miss the past couple years. Like, what is it about the New Orleans Saints that has your confidence this high?
Yeah, so the league, the veteran quarterbacks in the NFL can carry a team to 10 wins. I mean, that's kind of the bottom line. And then when you stack them with talent in the backfield, a good defense, a good offensive line, and receivers like Michael Thomas that can make plays and stretch the field, I just think that savviness and skill level of Drew Brees is superior relative to 25 other quarterbacks in the league. And to me, you can win 10 games a year with that talent. And Tom Brady and Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers are 3 of the examples of that. I think 9.5 wins is a little low.
Wow. So let's put them on the books here, their Bachelor. You've got Penn State -9. You've got the Philadelphia Eagles, Atlanta Falcons under 45. You've got the New York Giants +3 and a straight up win. And you have the New Orleans Saints, and you're doubling up on that 9.5. One is for the season win total. You think they get to at least 10, and you're taking them to win by 10 at home week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's right, Goose.
Wow. That was a long.
Put what you got down, but don't put what you don't have down.
That is a consummate rule. Don't bet with money you don't have, and also stay within your means in general. Get your money when you can and get it out. There's too many highs and lows in this. Honestly, I was not expecting this much depth from you. I thought you were just gonna half this a little bit, Rums. I'm impressed. I thought you were gonna be a little bit more homerish. You know what I mean? But you broke through that wall. I'm proud of you right now. I'm gonna put that out there.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm proud of you for joining us all in Vegas. I'm really looking forward to spending time with you.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day. I got to go through work and then catch those plane flights out there and, back and forth and the whole 9 yards. But we are going to make it happen. I am excited. Anything that we should know coming up for the big weekend here there, buddy? Last shout out for everyone listening.
No, I think for the weekend, everyone's on their own. If you don't make it back, I think that's on you. And I want to reiterate something to get back to my Homer roots. As you said, the great Ric Flair said, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
There's like a long, I'm like looking at my screen. I'm like waiting for you to like really bring it home. And then you end with a quote that was already said. I don't even know how to address you right now. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding, Rums. Are you still there?
Still here.
Did you go get your haircut yet?
On my way.
Oh, beautiful. I'm probably going to cut that last bit out, but I can't.
You don't like it because I already used that quote?
Can you give something else here? I mean, I'm kind of hanging. I can hear Bush right now getting mad about all this chit chat going on. I mean, he's got to get the 6th race in Saratoga, twice over for his his pick 12. I mean, is there anything else you're going to do if I'm going to stall this out here with you or what?
In Vegas or just in general?
This has just gone off the rails. Listen, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I appreciate having you here. So excited to see you out in Vegas. So excited to be out there with all the boys. Thanks for coming on and getting it. You gonna make this a regular thing there, Romes, or what are you gonna do here?
Yeah, I am, Goose. I wanna compare my statistics, my picks versus the other fine gentlemen on the show. So I look to hit a 60+% average. So I'm looking forward to see how I compete.
If you do, I'll start playing it with you. Listen, be safe in your travels coming up in 48 hours. We will see you in a different time zone, Romes, and let's get ready to get after it this weekend. All right, brother?
Sounds good. Thanks, Goose.
Go enjoy your haircut. I will be in touch, all right?
All right.
That was Rome's. Little extended there, and I apologize for that, kind of dragging on, but catching up with old friends, and we're excited to have them on and excited to, keep guys up in their picks and everything like that. I've had a lot of other guys talk about how they want to come on the show and do some stuff together, and, let's bring this home. Let's do this. Shoot me an email or send me a message on Twitter at @the_goose. Click like, share, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. Let's get this thing out here and let's have some fun. Gentlemen, safe travels. If you don't hear tomorrow's episode, we're going to bring Fermi on again for our week 2 college picks, getting ready for the big weekend out in Vegas. Until tomorrow, everyone have a great day.